Good morning, folks. It's the morning after the night before. I'm a bit bleary-eyed because I was up watching the fantastic trilogy fight between Juan Francisco Estrada and seems to be his nemesis, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Fitting end to a great trilogy. I think the right man. Well, I had it draw, but you could make it a case for Estrada nicking it. It was close. I mean, Estrada was outboxing Gonzalez in the first sort of 6 rounds. Then he slowed down a lot, and Gonzalez was able to sort of push him quite a bit. But I think the last round, Estrada for me, he came back, so he probably did just nick it. I actually had it a draw. I couldn't really split them. I had it 114, like one of the judges did. But a round here and there either way, it wouldn't have been. It's not the robbery again. It's not the robbery everybody's screaming about this morning. I had a look on social media, and there's a lot of people screaming that Gonzalez was robbed. You know, it was one of those fights. If it had gone either way, you would have screamed. People would have screamed. If it had gone Gonzalez's way, people would be screaming that Estrada was robbed. So, you know, I don't really buy that too much. The only thing that confused me about the whole build up to the fight and the way the fight went was a while ago they stripped Estrada of the WBC Super Flyweight title and named him the franchise champion, which is a big load of bollocks, as we know. It's like the WBA Super title and the regular titles. It's all bullshit. But now suddenly this fight was for the vacant WBC Super Flyweight title. Well, what happened to him being franchise champion? Doesn't that make a lot of sense? Doesn't make any sense to me. But it is what it is. That's just boxing for you. And on the undercard, the WBC Flyweight title, Julio Cesar Martinez got a majority decision over Samuel Carmona. I forget these fucking names. Sorry, folks. I'm tired. He didn't really impress me that much, to be honest. Martinez. I'd like to see him fight Sonny Edwards in a big unification fight. I think Edwards would have his number. I think. You know, obviously, be a little bit of rivalry's already there because obviously there was that hoo-ha a few years ago now with Sonny Edwards' brother Charlie and Martinez. You know, the punches after the bell, all that sort of stuff. It was originally a loss for Edwards, and then it was reversed by Mr. Suleiman. So the fight sells itself really, and I think they're the top 2 probably in the division. So I'd quite like to see that one. And but going back to Estrada and Gonzalez, I mean that was all 3 of their fights have been brilliant, and they've been close as well. The last fight, I personally thought Gonzalez was unlucky not to get the decision. That was last year. Fight of the year for me last year, in my opinion. Until the Fury Wilder 3 fight happened. But it was one of those ones. Although I personally thought Chocolatito deserved it, it wasn't a robbery. It's not the worst decision ever. It was close. The same with last night's fight. I had it a draw, but I could see it. You know, I've scored it again this morning. I tend to watch fights twice if it's close like that. And I watched it again. And I scored it again. And I actually had Estrada by a point, so by a round. You know, so it wasn't horrendous. It wasn't the most horrendous decision in the world. It's a shame, really, because I was a big fan of Roman Gonzalez since he was a straw weight. He's older now. I mean, for his weight, I'm amazed he came back from the losses to Rungvisai a few years back. You know, he came back and obviously beat Cal Yafai in 2020. He was brought in probably as a as a name, just a name to have on Yafai's record, and he got dominated, and and of course he he beat Martinez last year. The younger man totally outclassed him. So he's one of my favourite fighters to watch, and it's a shame to see him lose. I don't really know where he can go from here. I mean, I'm not saying he should retire. I mean, he wasn't bashed up. He wasn't, he's not knocked out horrendously. But I just don't really know where he can go, really. I mean, it's a bit like Jorge Linares, really. Sort of, is he going to get another shot? Could he move down, maybe? Maybe he could fight Sonny Edwards. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I suppose I'm going to have to mention it, that pile of shit fight that happened at Tottenham Hotspur's ground last night. Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora, the trilogy fight nobody wanted. I didn't pay for it. I didn't watch it live. I watched it on YouTube this morning, and of course it went exactly how we all thought it would. It just reinforced my belief at the start of the night, when it was first announced a month or so ago. Derek Chisora had no business being in that ring challenging for a world heavyweight title at this stage of his career. Anybody who was involved in that, in my opinion, putting that fight together and promoting it, should be ashamed of themselves. Derek Chisora, there's clearly something not right with him anymore. He's had too many punishing fights. After the Pulev fight earlier this year, I said he sounded punch drunk, and it wasn't a great fight, and it didn't look good. It didn't make him look good. There was nothing in that fight that made me think, yeah, this guy's still got it and deserves a shot. He took an unnecessary amount of punishment last night, in my opinion, and he should have been pulled out a lot earlier than he was. It was clear from the first couple of rounds he did not belong there. So yeah, anybody who bought a ticket to that or paid for it on pay-per-view, you really need to assess your priorities in life. You clearly have too much money if you're going to pay nearly 30 quid for that. I liken it going back 11, 12 years ago now. David Haye defended the WBA heavyweight title against Fraudley Harrison. I didn't pay for that night either, but friends of mine did, because they were convinced that it was going to be a good fight and Fraudley had a chance. And then they're all moaning to me afterwards, it only lasted 3 rounds and Fraudley Harrison only landed 1 punch. Well, what did you expect? I told you this would happen. So, that sham out there at Tottenham Hotspur's football ground last night, it was a sham. I've seen a lot of shit. People in the build-up, I've seen a lot of people on Instagram and Facebook and things. Not Facebook, YouTube, Facebook. Again, sorry, I'm tired. Moaning and groaning. Oh yeah, people keep slating this fight. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great night. And then now they're all pissing and moaning like what a fucking disappointment it was. Well, I did tell you. A lot of people told you. True Geordie was right in his interview with Tyson Fury. When it all got, the shit hit the fan and it all got a bit nasty. He didn't belong in your league. He shouldn't be in there. And I've been saying it since it was announced. And I'm not, lots of people have been saying, lots of people who know what they're talking about and know the business and have been following boxing for more than 6 months and don't just watch YouTube fights, have been saying this all along. So, Derek Chisora needs to retire now for his own health, because it was not good. And of course, I did see the stare down between Usyk and Fury afterwards. It is what it is. It's typical boxing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Fury as a fighter, and I respect him as a man most of the time. But his antics over the past sort of several months, the retiring, the unretiring, the unreasonable contract deadlines. I mean, even agreeing to this fight with Fury, with Chisora, I would have rather seen him fight Dubois. To be honest, he would have beaten Dubois. We all know that. But at least it's somebody different. And Dubois has a belt. Okay, it might be a piece of shit regular title, but it's a belt, and just add that to your collection before the fight with Usyk, because I mean the WBA are on about consolidating all their belts anyway. Well, Usyk's got the other one, the real WBA title, so you know at least there would have been some legitimacy there. But no, it was a fucking joke, as I said it would be. And like I say, anybody who paid for that, anybody who bought a ticket to it, well, don't complain, is all I'm going to say. You've got no right to complain. So, but oh yeah, on the undercard, there was one bit of excitement. And again, a lot more controversy for the naysayers to throw the fuel on the fire. Daniel Dubois successfully defended his title, his WBA regular title, against Kevin Lorena, and yeah, that first round was a bit scary if you're a Dubois fan. I'm amazed that it didn't get stopped, and of course the bell rang 8 or 9 seconds too early. Now that you could put, I mean that happens, you know, timekeeper error, human error. You can, okay, I've seen it happen. We've all seen it happen several times in fights. A round will go too long, or it stops too early. Who the hell knows? Put it down to that. But then the long round in round 3, when he knocked him out, he landed several punches. Like, hang on a minute, yeah, you can't tell me that this timekeeper is that incompetent. It's a bit too much of a coincidence, in my opinion. I mean, I don't like to scream corruption, because that's so easy to do. But just lately, with all the stuff going on with Eddie Hearn and the Conor Benn drug situation, you know, boxing stinks at the moment. I mean, boxing's always had a big cloud hanging over it, but stuff like this, it's bullshit. Give that man a rematch. Give Lorena a rematch, and yeah, we can sort it out once and for all. So yeah, it's nights like that cards like that all the people who say boxing's dead, well, it gives them, I can't argue with them, or boxing's dying, or boxing's shit, or boxing's a joke, and I can't argue with them. I spend most of my life defending boxing, and I can't anymore. I really can't, not with shit like that going on. Yeah, it just, I don't know, it breaks my heart. Like I say, boxing is so full of highs and lows. You can be up here 1 minute, a great fight, down in the dumps the next, with a shitty decision, or a complete mismatch, or big fights not happening due to ego and money, or just petty bullshit. So, which brings me nicely on, because I was saying about what a terrible fight that was last night. My top 10 worst fights in history of boxing. Just my opinion. Number 10, Calzaghe against Evans Ashira. Just a boring, plodding bullshit. Number 9, Joe Parker against Junior Farr. Again, boring hugfest. Not a lot of punches being thrown. 8, the first two fights between Norris and Santana. Just 2 disqualifications for punches on the back of the head, you know, bullshit. Number 7, William Joppy versus Roberto Duran. Duran was in his late 40s by that point and had no business being in the ring. Number 6, Trevor Berbick against Muhammad Ali. Again, a real heartbreaker if you've never seen it. Poor old Muhammad Ali, again, should never have been in there. 5, Ali Liston 2. It's just a fucking catastrophe. The referee didn't know what he was doing. There were screams of fight fixing. Fury against Klitschko. Now that might be a bit controversial to some of you, because I know you all love Fury, but yeah, it was boring. Hay versus Harrison I've already covered. Green versus Briggs, because Briggs shouldn't have been in there. And Sprott versus Skelton. If you like to watch 2 heavyweights hugging each other for a long time, that's the fight for you. Big load of bollocks. So, alright, I've had enough now. I'm going to go get some sleep. Take care everybody, and I'll speak to you soon.